Welcome to Crimes Beyond Borders, where we'll bring you the most thrilling true crime stories every single day. If you're fascinated by mystery, intrigue, and the darker side of human nature, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us as we unravel the most shocking and perplexing criminal cases from around the world. The story is about to begin after this intro.
From city streets to far off lands, mystery slipping through our hands. Crimes beyond borders they speak, voices strong but words are meek. Every story leaves a mark, whispers softly in the dark.
Our stories at first are made for ourselves, to comfort us, to help us sleep, and to learn. Along the way, they become a part of our journey, teaching us English and fueling our passion for true crime. So, listen carefully, and if you're about to sleep, close your eyes. Let's begin.
I am Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the man who planned and orchestrated the most devastating attack on American soil. I am the architect of September 11, 2001, the day the world would never forget. They call me many things: terrorist, mastermind, butcher. But in my eyes, I am a soldier of Islam, a warrior who carried out what needed to be done to avenge the humiliation of Muslims at the hands of the West. If you wish to understand why I did it, you must first understand how I came to be this way. I was born in 1964 in a small village in Balochistan, Pakistan. My family was devoutly religious but poor. From a young age, I was taught to revere Islam, to defend it with my life if necessary. My childhood was spent in the aftermath of colonial rule, in the shadows of Western powers manipulating the Middle East, exploiting Muslim lands, and supporting Israel in its oppression of Palestinians. I saw my people suffer, and from a young age, I knew that something had to change. I left Pakistan to study in the West, earning a degree in mechanical engineering from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University in the United States. It was there, in the heart of the enemy's land, that my hatred for the West solidified. I saw their arrogance, their decadence, their belief that they could reshape the world in their image, and I despised them for it. But I also learned something else. I learned their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. In the late 1980s, I joined the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, fighting the Soviet invaders. The war taught me much about sacrifice, about the power of jihad, and about how to strike at empires. It was in Afghanistan that I met Osama bin Laden for the first time. We were both committed to the same cause, the liberation of Muslim lands from foreign occupation. The Soviets eventually withdrew from Afghanistan, but I knew that the real enemy had not yet been defeated. After the Soviet withdrawal, I turned my attention to the true oppressor, the United States. The Americans had taken the place of the colonialists, installing puppet regimes throughout the Middle East, controlling our oil, and desecrating our holy lands with their military bases. They supported Israel's brutal occupation of Palestine, and for that, they needed to be punished. They needed to be humbled. In the early 1990s, I began laying the groundwork for a plan that would change the world. It was audacious, far-reaching, and terrifying in its simplicity. Strike at the heart of American power. The United States military might was unmatched, but its vulnerability lay in its open society, in its belief that it was untouchable. They thought they were safe on their own soil. I would prove them wrong. I pitched my plan to bin Laden in 1996. It involved hijacking commercial airplanes and using them as weapons, crashing them into the most symbolic targets of American power. The idea was to take down the financial, military, and political symbols of the United States. Bin Laden was intrigued, but cautious. He understood the magnitude of what I was proposing, and after years of deliberation and smaller attacks, such as the bombing of U.S. embassies in Africa and the USS Cole bombing, we knew it was time for something bigger, much bigger. In 1999, Al-Qaeda gave the green light to my plan. We called it the Plains Operation. I carefully selected the men who would carry it out, including my nephew, Ramzi bin al-Shir, who would serve as a key coordinator. They were to train in the United States, quiet, unassuming men who blend in with American society, learning to fly the planes that would become our weapons. The targets were carefully chosen. The World Trade Center in New York City, America's financial heart. The Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the symbol of American military power. And the Capitol, or the White House, the symbols of their political authority. These were the pillars of American strength, and if we could strike them, we would bring the empire to its knees. The fourth plane, as you know, never reached its target. Brave passengers on United Airlines Flight 93 fought back, crashing the plane into a field in Pennsylvania. But by then, the damage had been done. In the months leading up to the attacks, I coordinated the operation from afar, moving between safe houses in Pakistan and Afghanistan. The hijackers, 19 men handpicked for their devotion and willingness to die, moved into position. They trained at flight schools, gathered intelligence, and waited for the signal. On the morning of September 11, 2001, the plan unfolded almost perfectly. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 17 minutes later, United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 hit the Pentagon. And at 10:03 a.m., Flight 93 crashed into that Pennsylvania field. The world watched in horror as the towers burned and collapsed, as smoke billowed from the Pentagon, and as Americans realized for the first time in decades that they were not invincible. Nearly 3,000 people died that day. Some call it murder. I call it retaliation. The Americans responded just as I had expected. They launched their so-called war on terror, invading Afghanistan and later Iraq, entangling themselves in endless conflicts that drained their resources, their resolve, and their global standing. Their invasion of Afghanistan toppled the Taliban regime that had sheltered us, but it did not destroy the idea of jihad. If anything, it fueled it. The Americans became bogged down in a quagmire, spending trillions of dollars and losing thousands of lives, all because of what I started. But the Americans, with their vast intelligence networks, eventually found me. In March 2003, after years of hiding, I was captured in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. I had been living on the run, moving from one safe house to another, but I knew that my time was running out. The Americans, with their satellites, their spies, their endless resources, were closing in. They paraded me in front of the world, shackled, disheveled, humiliated. They thought they had won. They thought capturing me would end the war, but they were wrong. I'm just one man. What I set in motion, the hatred I helped foster, will live on long after I'm gone. My capture did not bring them peace. It only brought them more enemies, more violence, more bloodshed. They took me to Guantanamo Bay, where they interrogated me relentlessly. They wanted answers, they wanted names, they wanted to understand why I did it. I told them the truth. I did it for revenge, for Islam, for the oppressed Muslims of the world. I did it to show the United States that they could not trample over our lands, steal our resources, and kill our people without consequences. They may call me a terrorist, but I see myself as a soldier in a war that they started long before September 11. Now I sit in this cell, awaiting my trial. They say they will execute me, and maybe they will. But I have no regrets. I would do it all again if I could. My only regret is that I will not live to see the full consequences of what I started. The Americans think they can defeat us, but they cannot. They can kill us, they can imprison us, but they cannot destroy the idea of jihad. That will live on, long after they have forgotten my name. I am Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the architect of September 11, 2001, the man who struck at the heart of the American empire. They may kill me, but they will never erase me. My name will be remembered, and so will that day, the day I changed the world forever.
The story has come to an end, but stay relaxed. If you feel yourself drifting off to sleep, just let the video play and enjoy the soothing music in the background. Let it guide you gently into rest. We'll be here, bringing you more stories every night. Sleep well, and see you tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Whispers, cities asleep. Mystery in the air, it seeps. Flickering lamps dimly glow. Secrets hidden where few will go. In the half-light, truth begins to show. Unseen forces pull and tow. Windows shut, curtains drawn tight. Lonely figures melt in the night. Echoes fade out of sight. Moonlight bathes the world in fright. Ticking clocks, relentless sound. Time slips when danger's around. In the shadows, lost and found. Haunting silence so profound. Flickering lamps dimly glow. Secrets hidden where few will go. In the half-light, truth begins to show. Unseen forces pull and tow. Windows shut, curtains drawn tight. Lonely figures melt in the night. Echoes fade out of sight. Moonlight bathes the world in fright. Ticking cloisters on crumbling walls, telling tales of forbidden calls. Into the night, someone falls.